Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen. This week we are re-ranking the Halloween franchise, my favorite horror franchise. So guys, we just came out with a new movie, Halloween Kills. So I feel it's my duty as a Halloween fan to go back and rank the franchise. And maybe some of them have gone down a notch or two, or maybe some of them have gone up a few spots. Who knows? But let's get started, shall we? And right at the bottom of the barrel, where it rightfully belongs, is Halloween Resurrection. Just the absolute worst of the worst, in my opinion. I remember when I first saw it, I had a good experience because the theater was into it, and then I realized when I got the DVD and watched it at home just how bad it is. Just feels like a quick cash grab in the name of the Halloween franchise that undid everything they did right with Halloween H2O, you know. And it's just like an MTV movie, you know. It's just, oh man, they wasted Jamie Lee Curtis in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And it's pretty sad that Rick Rosenthal is the one that came back after doing such a great job with Halloween 2 and then making this terrible movie. You got Busta Rhymes kung fu kicking Michael Myers out the window. Oh man. Next up we have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Definitely one that aggravates me to no end, you know. I can respect what Rob Zombie was trying to do. He was trying to make it his own and do something different with the franchise. But I just feel like he went too far off the rails and in a lot of ways kind of disrespected the franchise, you know, especially with the Dr. Loomis character, turning him into a money-hungry jerk, you know. Like, how can you do that to Donald Pleasant's legacy, you know, with the character of Dr. Loomis? It's so disrespectful to me. And a lot of the acting is real bad, the language is way over the top, and the characters are just lifeless and soulless, you know. There's just no one in this movie you care about. I will say I did like the performances of Scout Taylor Compton and Danielle Harris a lot more in this one than Halloween from 2007, so it's not without its good points. Next up we have Halloween 2007, the original remake from Rob Zombie. Now, I was against this movie being remade, and how do I feel after it was remade? I feel like it shouldn't have been remade. Rob Zombie is just a filmmaker that I feel is not good at writing dialogue. He's got a great visual style, very original when it comes to that. But when it comes to dialogue, he's just terrible. Because this has some of the most cringeworthy dialogue in the franchise. It's definitely got some great brutality, and Michael Myers is scary again, and that's important after what happened with Resurrection, you know. I feel like that part he did well, but a lot of the acting is very campy, and yeah, it's just like 50-50 for me. There's a lot of things I liked. I like what he did with the background of Michael Myers, showing him as a child and what he went through and how he became the monstrous killer that he is today, you know. I thought that part was interesting before they go into the kind of really fast-paced version of the original with John Carpenter. Yeah. Next up we have Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's a film that's developed quite a cult following over the years. And, you know, back in the day in the 80s, it was not very well liked, you know. It was like the black sheep of the franchise, and I have to admit it's grown on me over the years. I used to hate it, but Now I kind of understand that they were going for something a little bit different. They wanted to do an anthology series instead of continuing the Michael Myers saga. But I'm a Michael Myers guy, so I don't get too psyched at the thought of a different kind of story about this guy who develops these booby trap masks in the toy factory that are set to basically kill all children in the world on Halloween. It's kind of an interesting story, but there's a lot of campiness in there, but there's some interesting kills, though. I feel like if they came out with this as not being associated with the Halloween franchise, people would have said it's like a knockoff of Halloween, because it still feels a lot like a Halloween movie. The android characters are very Michael Myers-ish, and you have Dick Warlock betraying one of them. The score is very much like a Halloween franchise movie. And you got Jamie Lee's voice over the loudspeaker of the town of Santa Mira. You got Nancy Keys in there. So, yeah, even though the story is different and it's not associated with Michael Myers, it still feels like a Halloween movie. But I don't know, it's just not one that I visit too often, you know. Next up, we have Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Another one that I did not like at first. I saw it in the theaters, and I just didn't get it, you know. It was very confusing, and just the plot is very convoluted. But I feel like it's grown on me over the years. I like some of the stuff with Michael Myers. There's some great kills, and Michael's real brutal. I like George Wilbur's performance as Michael a lot more in this one. But still, some of the acting kills me. It's really bad B-movie acting. And I appreciate the producer's cut more. I feel it makes more sense if you watch the producer's cut. There's still a couple things that I like a little bit better in the theatrical version, but I feel like if they melded the two together and took the good points from each version of it and made a superior cut, I would probably really like it. Next up, we have Halloween H2O, which was the return of Jamie Lee Curtis to the Halloween franchise after, since Halloween 2. So it was great to see her come back. And unfortunately, it does not pay attention to parts 4, 5, and 6. Those have been removed, which always bothers me every time I watch this. And it definitely feels very Scream-esque. This came out after Scream, and, after Scream, a lot of horror movies looked and felt like Scream, and this one certainly does, too. I believe the guy who wrote Scream wrote this movie, too. But still very enjoyable, and Jamie Lee has a great performance, and it's got one of the best endings of the franchise, for sure. And I feel like this should have been the last one, Next up, we have Halloween 5, one of the most reviled films in the franchise from fans and critics alike. But not me, because there's a lot of stuff I love about Halloween 5. Yeah, I realize it's definitely a flawed film. There's several flaws, and I noticed them, but I feel like the good points outweigh the bad. There's a lot of great kills. It's got some great atmosphere. I love the tone of it. It's a lot scarier than Halloween 4, in my opinion. I like John Shanks as Michael Myers. There's some great scenes with Dr. Loomis. Donald Pleasance is great once again. A lot of people took issue with Tina. They felt she was really annoying, and a lot of people hated the fact that Rachel gets picked off, early on in the film. But, it's not perfect, but there's a lot of great stuff in there. Next up, we have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So, yeah, after Halloween 3 failed at the box office, all the fans were like, we want Michael Myers back. So they brought Michael Myers back into the franchise. Thank goodness, because I thought they did a great job here. Except for the mask. I can't stand that mask. It just does not look right. I feel like it was false advertising when you see the poster. It's like that classic 1978 mask. And then you get this mask, which looks nothing like it. But outside of that, it's a very enjoyable sequel. And Danielle Harris is a very welcome addition to the franchise. I loved her character. She's the niece of Michael Myers. Laurie Strode apparently died in a car crash, and Jamie was adopted. And also you got Ellie Cornell is great. So that's what's great about this movie. You got awesome performances. That's what makes it great. Because outside of the performances from Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis and Danielle and Ellie Cornell, I feel like it would be kind of a run-of-the-mill slasher. But as it stands, it's a nice movie. It's a great movie. Next up, we have Halloween from 2018. Yes, the film that kind of goes back to the original franchise in a way. Well, it only acknowledges the original film, though, but you do have Jamie Lee Curtis returning to the franchise as Laurie Strode. And she does a fantastic job. I'd say this is probably her best performance, probably in her career. You know, there's some really intense moments with Laurie's character, and she does face off against the monster Michael Myers, you know. And this is going back to that classic version of Michael Myers, and James Drew Courtney does such a great job. I love the look of him. I love the mask. Some nasty kills, and the direction from David Gordon Green is great. You know, great atmosphere, great tone. Some of the humor is a little bit annoying at times. I feel like it takes me out of the movie. But overall, I really enjoy the film. And next up, we have the brand new Halloween Kills. Yes, that just came out this year, 2021. And I absolutely love it, you know. It seems to be 50-50 with the fans and the critics. They're very divided on this movie. And I can understand why. There's some of the scenes, some of the stuff with the townsfolk coming together as basically creating a lynch mob to take out Michael Myers, you know, and hunting him down, you know, evil dies tonight. Some of that stuff is a little bit campy, a little cheesy. It felt like that could have been handled better. But when it comes to Michael Myers, that's where this movie shines, because this is Michael Myers' movie. It's just him completely wreaking havoc on the town of Haddonfield. And he's on a murderous rampage, and some of the kills are just absolutely brutal. And you get some great practical effects in there with the blood and the gore. It's just to the extreme. But not foregoing the suspense and the tension. There is some still some good suspense and atmosphere in this movie, and the direction by David Gordon Green is great. And I love those 1978 flashback scenes, you know, from like the original movie, where they kind of recreate these scenes. And I love Deputy Hawkins' character and how his story plays out. And I didn't mind that Jamie Lee Curtis was kind of, you know, pushed to the background. She still has a great performance, but we get to see some of the other characters shine, like her daughter's character, Karen, and Allison, you know. Great stuff, you know. I really enjoyed this movie. Next up, you cannot erase Halloween 2 from 1981. Still absolutely love it. It's still my favorite horror sequel of all time. You just can't beat it, and I don't think any of the films in the franchise match the tone of the original, the suspense, and the great score of the original like this movie. And I love Dick Warlock's portrayal as Michael Myers. I can't say enough about it. I just think he's terrifying and creepy as hell. It's got some awesome kills, and the kills are just like beautifully filmed. They're like works of art, you know. Absolutely love the cinematography from Dean Cundy and the direction from Rick Rosenthal. I just think this movie is absolutely incredible. Every time I watch it, I just love it. And it's got the best finale, the best final act of the franchise, in my opinion. And was there ever any question what the #1 film in the Halloween franchise is? Obviously, it's the 1978 masterpiece, a 5-star classic in every way. I love everything about this movie. I can't say enough about it, and I've said plenty about it on my channel. This is my favorite horror movie of all time. I think it's the greatest horror movie ever made. It's just got amazing suspense. The best suspense I've seen in any movie. The way the film builds up the tension all the way throughout until it builds to an absolute crescendo in the final act. It's just amazing. John Carpenter's direction is brilliant. Dean Cundey's cinematography is brilliant. Every scene is like a masterpiece. It's like almost like a beautiful painting. Every scene is just like iconic. I love all the characters. I love Dr. Loomis. I love Michael Myers, the way he's kind of in the background, and just the mystery of the character of Michael Myers is so well done in this movie. Just love everything about it. It's just absolutely awesome. So there you go. That's my ranking of the Halloween franchise. And thank you so much for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared. Folks, don't forget to grab your Sean Patrick Erschen gear and represent the Horror Corner. Also, check out these awesome mugs we have, perfect for your coffee. And definitely check out the Horror Hangout live stream t-shirt and represent the legacy of the Horror Hangout. Check out the link in the description below this video.